Holy cats, we are back, folks. This is Become a Bat, a chronological look at Batman all the way from the beginning. We're currently still in 1941. We're close to the end of it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Bring on 1942. But before that, we still got a little bit of time. Today, we're going to be doing Batman number 7. We're going to start that one and then do Detective Comics number 57. And both these issues were spectacular, I gotta say.
Awesome. Oh, hey, you forgot to introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Tom.
And I'm Mike.
All right.
In case you didn't know.
Yes, I think on the last issue we forgot to.
You did
story.
too. I wasn't going to say anything, but I was going to say it if you did it again, because you did.
Yep.
All right.
Good. All right. So let's get right into it.
Cool. This is Batman number 7, Wanted Practical Jokers. November 1941, art by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson, and/or George Russos, written by Bill Finger. This one has a really cool cover.
I like this cover a lot.
Yeah, it's like a target in the background, like the entire background is just like a red and white repeated circular pattern, and then Batman's like lunging in from the left side, or the right side, delivering a punch to a guy's face, and then and Robin's like tackling the guy's knees, sort of. And guess what? His hat's flying off and his gun's flying out of his hand. Finally, it's back, but only on the cover, I'm sure.
Yeah, the target background is a lot more pleasing to the eye than like the last one, which was like a kind of an ugly pinstripe.
Yeah, it's still interesting, but I definitely prefer the target and the fact that they're like right in the target. That's good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, but I put underneath the cover here, Robin's face is planting right in that guy's butt.
It is. Yeah.
He is. He's like, because he does this all the time where he tackles thugs at the knees, but his face is right in the guy's butt. Usually it's down by his knees.
Yeah, he needs like a face guard. Did you notice this is the issue for October and November?
Yeah.
So looks like they're moved on from being quarterly and just kind of like one issue for every 2 months. I don't know what you would call that. Bi-monthly?
Bi-monthly. Yeah.
Bi-monthly. So, yeah. Hopefully that means we'll be speeding through like the main issues pretty soon. I wonder how long until they just go with like one Batman story per issue, like a long one.
Maybe like another year or so.
Maybe. Or I meant like not that. I meant like make it a monthly straight up monthly title.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Did you notice, by the way, like recently, the guns have been looking like hair dryers a lot, like where the back of the gun is like really rounded, doesn't really have like a hammer or anything, and hammerless firearms did not exist at the time. I think they just didn't know how to draw guns.
Possibly, I didn't notice that. I don't know. It always reminds me of the like I'm looking at the one on the cover now, and that like that smooth back of the gun kind of reminds me of the what they call it, the Destoval from GoldenEye.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. But like those guns, people didn't really have guns like that back then. They weren't readily available to the public. How's that? The splash page, man.
Yeah, it's another one of those splash pages where the villain of the story is like gigantic.
Those are all my favorites.
Yeah, and we got Batman and Robin. So this is a Joker story.
You get to read the Joker splash page. I'm going to describe it, but you can read it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got giant Joker, and he's wearing like his trench coat and his hat, which I love Joker with the trench coat and the hat. And he's just like throwing Joker cards all over the place, and there's all these people running around on the streets like terrified for their lives. I don't know why, they're just giant Joker cards, but and then in the background you got Batman zooming in on his bat rope, trying to apparently he's gonna like kick Joker in the face or something, and then Robin way back on this ledge just kind of crouching, and it looks like he's just crouching. Yeah, he's just crouching. I was gonna say maybe he's got a slingshot, but no, he doesn't.
No.
But it's a very cool image. You know, it's got like that really warm reddish orange sky and the bright moon in the background, and like all like this like stripy clouds. Sort of, it's very moody.
Batman is he's gonna miss his movie just because like giant Joker.
Yeah,
they're doing this in front of a movie theater.
I know. I saw it says now playing, but you can't tell what it is.
It looks like probably like a war movie because like that thing kind of looks. It either looks like a bird or a plane. I know it's not Superman.
Maybe it's Superman. Yeah.
And the other thing below it looks like a kind of like a UFO.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Like one of those, just kind of like.
Maybe it's Earth versus the flying saucers, except that came out in the 50s. So who knows? Could be anything.
All right, let me take a crack at this splash page.
You can do it. You did the last one.
Yeah. What was the reason for the plague of mad pranks that infested Gotham City? Was it really just disoriented humor? Distorted humor, or was there an evil, calculating thread of evil winding through this pattern of the mad mirth? The amazing answer was to be found by that mantled nemesis of crime, the Batman. It was the Batman and Robin, the boy wonder, who smashed their way through this maze of mirth to find that behind it all was the lean, menacing figure of the Joker.
I like how this one doesn't announce the name of the story, but rather just it says the Joker,
Yeah.
because that's all you care. That's all I care.
Yeah, I
about.
had to like look through I had to like go back and like try to figure out what it was in the table of contents.
I know I had to look it up because it actually wasn't in this book.
Yeah.
It was the first one, another first, where they
Wanted.
didn't actually introduce the story with the case of or the name of
Yeah.
it. So
But I like the title Wanted Practical Jokers.
yeah, that's good stuff. All right, I did this one slightly different. This is the one I was telling you where I interjected pictures throughout my synopsis.
Yeah.
So it's not going to change things a whole lot. I kind of did that to save myself from having to write like another paragraph, though.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. At stately Wayne Manor, Bruce and Dick are reading the morning paper when the Joker, I don't know which one it is, man. Is it Joker or the Joker? They say both.
You know what? I think of something I noticed.
It's like Batman and the Batman.
When Batman says it, he says he will call him Joker.
Yeah, and then Robin says the Joker.
Robin and other people like to just say the Joker, but
Batman's on first name basis with him.
It's kind of more personal for Batman, so I think that's why he just says Joker.
Yeah, I was noticing that too because they say it two different ways in the same panel. Anywho, Bruce and Dick are reading the morning paper when Joker randomly comes to mind. Dick questions whether or not that the Joker really died, falling from the lighthouse after their last encounter. Bruce is bothered by the thoughts too. He's unable to give a solid answer, but he knows that if Joker is still around, it's only a matter of time before he rears his ugly head again.
You know, also, before we got to this story, I was also wondering, it's been a while since we had a Joker story.
I feel like they got it timed out perfectly.
Yeah.
But I know at some point he's just going to disappear and not reappear for like another 10 years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I know, it's sad. So one of these stories is going to be great, and it's going to be his final hurrah for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neil Adams brought him back. That very morning, a queer ad appears in the paper. Said ad says, "Wanted, Practical Jokers." There's the name of it. There's the title right there.
Yep.
"Only those with experience need apply." And then it's like at the bottom, there's like a name and an address, and it says, "I Wreckage, 13 Gloom Street." We already know that's the Joker.
Yeah.
He's the same exact name in like the previous issue he was in, and the same address.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't thought of Joe Kerr yet.
Yeah, much better, but I guess it's too obvious. Anyways, the ad attracts all kinds of weirdos. Later that day, a group of them show up at the home of I Wreckage. When he asks them about their practical joke skills, they go around the room introducing themselves and showing off their practical jokes to each other. Or showing them off on each other is more like it. Most of them are lame or mean-spirited, like prank calling or pulling a chair out from under someone when they're about to sit down. Wreckage weeds out most of the applicants, and he only keeps the ones whose pranks are truly mean-spirited and harmful. He then... Wait, did I call him? Oh, yeah, I did call him Wreckage. I thought I called him the Joker already.
Well, at this point, he's
We
Wreckage.
know he's the Joker.
Yeah.
He then has each of them come over to his table and pick up an object that's laying in front of him. The objects are all weapons of some kind. The practical jokers do what he says, but are taken aback by being asked to hold lethal weapons. At this point, Wreckage reveals to them that each of the weapons was touched by, and I butchered that, cut it. At this point, Wreckage reveals to them that each of these weapons were used in a major crime, and now that they have touched them, their fingerprints are all over them, and he could easily call the police and have them all arrested and charged with the crimes. The men become very worried. They step back, now on their guard, and it's at that moment that Wreckage stands up, produces a cloth from his pocket, and proceeds to vigorously wipe his face and remove a wig and fake mustache, revealing that he is in reality not I Wreckage, but the Joker, the clown prince of crime.
It's a good prank.
I love when he does that shit.
Yep.
And it makes me so happy that they do that in that 1989 movie too.
Yeah.
He just wipes off his face, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god." That's good stuff. Joker then cuts to the point. The men can either work for him and make money by playing practical jokes, or they can go to jail for their crimes that they didn't commit. They agree to his terms, and over the next couple of days, a series of mean jokes are played on the people of Gotham City. False alarm fires are called in. Fake money is thrown onto crowds. People are scalded by hot water when their taps are switched. All kinds of stupid shit. The Practical Jokers head back to Joker's hideout and tell him all about the success that they've had with their pranks. Joker is overjoyed. He gives them a slew of new pranks to pull that are even more mean and harmful. This time, traffic signs are removed and switched. Poisons are put into medicine bottles, and train tracks are swapped so that the trains are derailed. At the end of all these pranks, a large plane flies overhead and drops off hundreds of leaflets. And I'm going to read this leaflet right here. The leaflet. Ha! I'm responsible for the practical jokes that you have been the victim of lately. I laugh at you, and I laugh at the blundering police who will be unable to stop me from stealing a valuable gem. I laugh at Batman, who will also try to stop me. Signed the Joker. Very juvenile Joker.
I love how juvenile it is.
I also like how he says, I laugh at. Dude, we get it. You're the Joker. You laugh at everything. He should have just signed it ha 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 at the end, too. Now the public is outraged. They know that the Joker is still alive and that he is behind everything. Back at the police station, Gordon is laying into Bruce Wayne about all the prank BS. He's getting a little bit heated when out of nowhere a man walks into the room and hands him a letter. It's a letter by none other than Joker, promising to break into the man's home and steal his precious diamond. Gordon posts armed guards outside the man's home, just like he did the last 3 times, but the guards were ineffective. Batman and Robin show up to find the guards on the ground with hideous smiles on their faces.
I like how this one, it gets straight to the point. Like, it's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And we just get there and, yep, the cops are dead.
Mm-hmm. They are too late. Joker has been there already. Suddenly, Batman realizes that Joker might still be around in the house. He breaks down the door into an adjacent room, discovers Joker standing there at a large office desk, holding a gun to a man's head. It's a very good visual, by the way. Batman rushes the Grim Jester, and they wrestle for the control of the gun. Robin comes rushing in to pummel Joker while Batman holds him up. But a door behind them opens abruptly, and out pours another Joker. This Joker goes straight for Robin. They begin to struggle. Suddenly, another door opens, and 3 more Jokers come pouring out.
I'm seeing double, 5 Jokers.
Yeah. Batman stops holding back. He punches a Joker so hard in the face that his mask splits and reveals a person underneath. He then realizes that these Jokers are really just people in Joker masks, and then he takes a heavy blow to the head and hits the floor. When the dynamic duo comes to, they are on the floor, and there is a note containing an object. When the dynamic duo comes to, they are on the floor, and there is a note containing an object. When they open the note, it says that the giant crystal that they were fighting to protect was really just a glass doorknob. Then the phone rings. It's Joker, of course. He informs Batman that he was out stealing the real giant gem while B&R wasted their time going after the crappy doorknob. Joker leaves Batman with a cryptic riddle and then hangs up. The riddle is, when is a duke not a duke? Batman angrily ponders on the question while Joker laughs maniacally back in his secret lair. Back at Wayne Manor, Bruce struggles with the riddle while Dick reads the paper. Things start to come together when Dick runs across an article about Duke Michael and a $10,000 reward he's being given to help war-torn nations. That's it! They run out of the room and suit up in the guise of Batman and Robin and head off into the night. Meanwhile, Joker has already broken into the Duke's hotel and begins gassing all of the guards outside of Duke's room. He enters the room and then gasses Duke Michael himself and his personal bodyguards too. Then Joker has his men steal the guards' clothes and hide their bodies, and he produces a small makeup kit, which he then uses to turn himself into Duke Michael and his henchmen into his guards. Joker, in disguise as the Duke, along with his bodyguards, walks out onto the stage to accept the generous donations. Right as the money is being placed into his hand, Batman and Robin show up and tell everybody the truth. Unfortunately, most people don't understand. So when Joker, as Duke Michael, calls for security, the dynamic duo ends up in a fight. Chaos ensues, and during the chaos, the Joker escapes. He makes his way outside and steals a car. Batman and Robin also steal a car, again, and pursue the Joker at top speed. The Grim Jester pulls over and runs into the train station. He jumps onto a train that's already taken off, forcing the dynamic duo to do something drastic. They speed up alongside the train and up ahead of it, and then Just as the timing is right, they are able to jump out of the car and onto the back of the train as it passes by. They make their way into the train car and immediately spot their nemesis. Batman tells the passengers to help stop the maniac, but the Joker jumps out the skylight and books it across the roof of the train. Joker slides down the side of the train car and loosens some couplings to separate the cars. The caped crime fighters are too fast and agile to let it happen, though. They leap across the ever-widening gap and land on the train car with Joker. Batman and Joker trade lethal blows. Nobody has a clear upper hand, but then Batman ducks, and Joker makes a mad rush for him. Batman rises to his feet and delivers a skull-crushing uppercut that connects and sends the Joker flying off the train, over the cliff, and down into the forest floor below. Batman and Robin stand and stare. They are not sure if the Joker is really dead this time or not, but at least this time, they got the clear upper hand. Get it? Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha.
The Joker would appreciate. The end.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It is.
That is an excellent one. What are your thoughts on this one?
Man, I picked a lot of panels from this, so I feel like we're going to spend a lot of time talking about panels, so I won't
are.
really get too far into the thoughts. Simple, effective. I love how the Joker always follows the same MO. He doesn't give a crap about getting caught, because he knows if he gets caught, it means Batman's going to have to fight him, and he loves fighting Batman because he wants another opportunity to murder him.
Yep.
And I also love just him wiping his face off and revealing his clown face underneath. That's my favorite thing ever.
Something that I want to tackle someday is how the Joker is a meme.
Yeah.
Are you aware of like the original definition of like a meme, like where the origin of it comes from, like pre-internet?
Not really. You can feel free to share with our listeners.
So, shoot, I forgot which guy came up with it, but basically, it's the idea that it's like an idea, and it like spreads kind of like a gene, right? That's why the word is meme. It's off of gene.
Oh, it's like gene. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, the Joker, they've been playing around with it, like this idea that the Joker is a meme. I guess I think this is probably where it starts, where Batman, Joker dresses like he gets a bunch of other people to dress up like Jokers.
Mm-hmm.
There's something a theme they played with for years and years in Batman media. Let's see, in Batman Return of the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually does literally spread himself
Right.
through genetics.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie Joker is about how the Joker is more of an idea than like the guy himself, like
Right.
because the video spreads, it goes viral, or I guess for the 80s it goes viral, and then
He almost creates himself in that way by like putting it out there and other people globbing onto it, and then they make him into who he really is.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then he's always putting, he's using his gas to put his image on people's faces with the mask,
Right.
with the laughing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Joker fish. So it's something they've been doing for a long time. Oh, the three Jokers.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
three Jokers. Like he
Yeah.
literally indoctrinates people and makes them believe that they are him.
Yeah. So it's something that they've been doing with Joker for a long time. It's like
Yeah.
that Joker is more of an idea. Same. They do that with Batman to a degree too. But like Batman, like wants to do it like through his words and like deeds, while Joker is more forceful about it.
Yeah. I do find the element of Joker like turning other people into Joker things very disturbing.
Yeah.
Like when he gasses people or hits them with like a needle that's poisoned.
Yeah.
Right before they die, how they start to become him, like their skin looks like his. You know, like sometimes their hair changes color, or they get the grimace, and then they start laughing uncontrollably.
Yeah.
I find that very disturbing, but I love it.
And then laughter in itself is contagious. So like the fact that he like spreads through laughter.
He's a virus.
Yeah. Like sometimes you'll be laughing at somebody who's laughing and you don't even know why. So it's very interesting.
It's a very good character.
Yeah.
Panels that we love.
Before that, I also liked that how quickly like Joker is to corrupt like a bunch of like Joker like practical pranksters. He finds like the worst of them, like at least the ones more prone to do like actual bad things.
Yeah.
And he puts up a pretense of framing them with the
with all
The deadly weapons,
right that he used for crimes.
but like that never comes up again because like they're instantly in love with doing this.
Yeah, immediately they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's great," and
Yeah.
then they like are bragging and laughing about
Yeah.
stuff, and so much so that they're willing to dress up like him.
Yeah, it's at that point after like their first round of pranks, it's like it's totally voluntary. They love it.
Yeah,
I liked that. Again, that actually also plays into the meme.
yeah. This first panel
Yeah.
you picked, one of them is laughing their ass off, like
Yeah.
while the train is crashing.
Yeah. So that brings us into the panels. Yeah, I love that one. Where he causes a train wreck, a literal train wreck, and in the foreground is one of the pranksters, and he's laughing, and he looks a lot like the Joker.
He does.
Just in his gleeful laughing at the suffering of people.
Yep. You put the leaflet in here too.
I put the leaflet. We already read the leaflet. We've
Yeah.
gone over that.
Dude, some of the art in this issue is so good.
Yeah,
It's got that Dick Sprang quality to it, which kind
does.
of makes me think that maybe this is like some early Dick Sprang stuff thrown in here. You know, like there's issues where multiple artists work on them, but this next panel here totally looks like Dick Sprang. You cannot deny it.
Yeah, it's so crisp and colorful.
I saved that picture. I'm never gonna delete it. I'm gonna make it into something because I love it.
Yeah, I mean it's just a 2-part panel of Batman and Robin. Like the first one is them like charging, look for the Joker.
Yeah.
And then in the second part, they arrive at the scene of the crime with the 2 dead cops.
Yeah. I like how he says, "Look, they're unconscious." It's like, no, dude, they're dead.
Yeah, they're definitely dead.
That's a good panel though. Like everything about it's good. Like
Yeah.
the first part, the one of these days I'm gonna remember what these stupid panels are called, like the boxes.
I forgot.
The fancy word box on the top
Yeah.
of the page says, and at that very instant, 2 mantled figures lope swiftly through open city streets. They are Batman and Robin. And then Batman's like, "Come on, Robin, we've got a date with the Joker." And Robin's like, "Let's step it up." Let's step it up.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the next panel, that panel's like really creepy.
Yeah,
like,
it is so eerie.
Like the cops are just like doubled over, like in the most weird positions, and they look their faces look really disgusting and distorted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they'd said like, "We're too late" or something like that, and then they're dead instead of "Look, they're unconscious." But
Yeah, that reeks of having it being edited.
yeah.
I mean, like we have these guys like causing fatal accidents, and like before, like, and then like Joker can't like kill a couple cops. Come on.
This next panel's great. I mean, these are all great panels. There's so many of them. Batman fighting off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Jokers.
Yeah. Like
So
that must
good.
have been a lot of fun to draw.
Yeah.
And then I'm like looking, and like you got this posted too, so like we definitely were on the same track.
Yeah, I know. I accidentally posted one that you posted. I love this 2-part panel here that you got where they're on the phone with each other.
Yeah.
The Joker's face is drawn so damn well in that picture. So damn well.
And I just love the mental idea of Batman talking on the phone. It's just a killer mind thought.
Yeah.
And
the idea of Batman having a phone conversation with a serial killer, it's pretty awesome.
or just anybody in general.
Yeah, but the Joker loves to toy with him
He
too,
does.
which makes it even better.
Yeah.
It is kind of like a Hannibal Lecter type of thing that they have going on, where like Batman's like the calm, cool, calculated detective, and the
Yeah.
Joker's like the crazy schizo.
Yeah, Batman's getting off. I mean, Joker's getting off on it, and
Oh yeah,
Batman's just pissed.
yeah,
And then let's see, that's the 2-part panel. But then I had to like clip the entire like the rest of the phone call and the aftermath, because it is like I can read it in my brain, in my head, as Adam West and Burt Ward talking.
Oh dude, I love this. Like,
The
you
entire-
laughing hyena.
Yeah,
like the stuff he says.
If Adam West hadn't said that, like it, like you wouldn't be able to convince me otherwise.
Can you do an Adam West impression?
No, I would do him an injustice.
Duke, not a duke. I mean, I wish I could do an Adam West impression, because
I know.
you could read this and it would sound perfect.
Yeah, like even I heard a story where Nicolas Cage asked Adam West what he thought of his Adam West impression from Kick-Ass.
As Big Daddy.
Yeah, as Big Daddy, and Adam West is like, "Yeah, you can't do it as well," or whatever. Anyway, he just said he basically dissed him like in his Adam West way, and
Yeah, but he did a good job.
he did an excellent job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. And then
I love that last panel, by the way. The 3-part panel here you have, where like that's the continuation of the phone call. After Batman hangs up the phone, it does like the zoom in on him, and he's like grabbing his chin. He looks really pissed.
yeah,
And he's just like thinking about that stupid riddle that he can't figure out.
And they gave him the eyebrows.
I know, finally.
Yeah, like I wonder. I mean, they're not in the next panel, so
I think they give him the eyebrows only sparingly right now because they use them to show that he's like mad or like thinking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, they're not always there.
That's something they're gonna definitely at one point like just kind of probably do permanently because it's a really good detail.
Yeah, yeah, it will happen. I think when Karma Infantino takes over on the book, that's when the eyebrows become a permanent thing. So, and that's why they're on the mask from the show too. So
yeah, too bad they can't move on the show for obvious reasons.
I like this next panel too. It's there's no words. It's literally just the Joker trying to punch Batman and Batman trying to punch the Joker. It's like
you can like hear the air.
Yeah, it's very clean looking though. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's one reason I picked it. Just it's like a nice clean shot.
Yeah. This one I put in here.
Yeah.
It's after the meeting with the people when he decides who he wants to pick and he makes the threat about the weapons and all that. Then he like takes off the wig and the glasses and just wipes all the makeup off his face. I just love how he does that. And then the thugs are just like, the Joker! Like, really? You didn't expect it to be the Joker? He hired you because you're a practical joker.
Well, maybe they didn't expect it because they thought he was dead.
I guess.
Joker likes to dress up as old men.
I know he does.
It's like the third or fourth time he's
probably because it disguises his face better because they usually have beards or mustaches.
Yeah, and he can just like do more of his like acting.
I also do like to think that this Golden Age Joker is older than Batman by like a good 10 years or so.
Yeah, because it reminds me of the Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton age gap.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think too.
Yeah,
like Batman's like the young, spry, adventurous crime fighter, and Joker's like, I've been around the block, I know the truth.
Yeah, typically I think of them as the same age, but
yeah, in modern comics, I think
in this time era they definitely, and I think even how old was I think there was definitely a Romero. I think he was definitely older than Adam West.
Yeah, but not by much.
Not by much. Yeah, no. He outlived him by a good chunk though. Oof.
Yeah. You know, Cesar Romero's gay, right?
I didn't.
Yeah. It like he was like a very just like everybody was back then.
Mm-hmm.
He was very like straight presenting gay. Like Anthony Perkins is also gay from Psycho, and you wouldn't really be able to tell. Maybe by today's standards, you know, you would. But yeah, I feel like that added an element to his Joker.
I mean, I definitely like it makes sense. I'm like, oh yeah, definitely.
Well, and also like the way he plays the Joker, he's always got these like attractive female sidekicks that he just doesn't give a shit about. You know. And that continues on through the rest of everything until we get Harley Quinn. So
yeah, I think I don't know, we'll get into that another time.
Yeah, we can get into that on the special episode about the psychology of Batman and villains. So, but I love this next panel here. This is another panel. I'm gonna save this one for later because I think I can block out all the words in the word bubble and make it say something else.
You definitely need to do that with the phone call.
Yeah, I'm talking about this one here, the orange one here, where it's just the Joker staring at you, the reader. And if there's a lot of depth here because you have like shadows in the foreground and shadows in the background of these people, like these practical jokers that he's decided to add to his team of jokers. And he's just like holding his finger up to his face and like talking to them and telling them that about his plans, you know, and then catching the world off guard. But it's just a really interesting looking panel with a lot of depth. And again, like it's drawn very cleanly. You can really see him and he looks very modern. I picked this next panel too because and the next one. I love every freaking panel where Batman busts through a door and it just like explodes into pieces.
Yeah,
and especially this one because he calls Joker Funny Man.
Yep.
Hiya, Funny Man.
Going all RoboCop mode.
Yeah, and then this is like such a menacing image of the Joker, just like he's holding the gun directly at this dude's face, like pointing it directly at his chin. And then he's not even like turning around. He knows Batman's coming. He literally just like turns his head to look at him, and
like
that's
the guy's bracing himself against the desk.
Yeah,
like oh yeah, he's threatened.
Yeah, for sure. I would be too.
Yep.
A man in full-on face paint with green hair is holding a gun at me and a purple suit. And then like this is the panel like where the back door opens and like a bunch more Jokers come running into the room.
And we got our holy cats.
Holy cats! Either I've gone crazy or I'm having a nightmare.
Yeah, I love my favorite of these three Jokers in this panel is the one on the left. He's got like a nice spry jaunt.
Oh yeah, he's got a really weird kind of run going on there.
Yeah, I think he might be shorter than the rest too. Like
I get that too. I think they're all like different heights. They're trying to show them as like completely different body types, but all dressed identically.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should definitely, if they ever like redo like a three Jokers thing, just be like, okay, now it's just obvious that they're not like the same person.
Yeah, I really love this next panel. I mean, I love a lot of panels in this issue, but this one is just Batman and Robin talking to each other, and Batman's like, that grinning devil. I'm going to wipe that smile off his face if it's the last thing I do. We'll see who has the last laugh yet. Like, he wants him dead.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And then Robin's just standing there with his arms crossed, and he's like, he has a sense of humor, only it's distorted. Like, thank you, Robin, for stating the obvious. It's very distorted. He's a murderer.
Yeah, he tried to kill you at one point.
Yeah. Scroll down here. I added this panel right here purely because they steal another goddamn car. Like, is this going to be a new thing? Like, you have a Batmobile, and it's faster than all these cars. Like, just use the Batmobile. And then the panel right here where the Joker slides down the side in between the trains to take the coupling off.
Yeah.
Why would he do it the way that he's doing it?
I love the physical comedy, the physical,
it's total physical comedy gag. He's like spread eagle, like using his freaking feet to hold him up and grabbing the thing with his arms, and it's just the Mad Joker hangs perilously above the couplings between the two cars. That's not how I would picture it if I read that.
No.
At all. And then this one's good too. A sudden savage blow sends the Batman onto his back. And it's literally just Joker sucker punching Batman so hard that he fell on his ass. But the way it's shot is cool because it's shot through the legs of the Joker from a low camera angle.
Yeah, it makes Joker look more imposing.
It makes Joker look huge and imposing, and Batman look all small and just he's shaking his head whoa, like he just got cold cocked and has no idea what's happening. This one's beautiful too. There's so many good panels.
Yeah, I didn't want to I knew you would choose a lot of these.
I'm just gonna briefly go through this.
Yeah.
These next two panels are basically just them fighting on top of the train. But like I said before in previous Joker issues, I feel like the Joker issues are always very cinematic.
Yeah,
and ahead of their time. Fight scenes on the roof of trains, those didn't happen back then. Maybe in cartoons, but not in live action movies. They're doing a really good job here of creating a larger scale and scope for Batman's world when they do stuff like this. You know. They're really damn cool. The first one's just Joker punching Batman in the face with the moon behind him. The second one, they're silhouetted and the moon's behind them too, and Joker's running at him. But they're both awesome. I really like the art in this issue a lot. And then the final panel, I love when Batman and Robin talk all chummy about stuff. Robin's like, I don't think he'll cheat death this time, do you, Batman? And Batman says, maybe. He's cheated death so often, you just can't trust that guy. At least we know we had the last laugh on the Joker.
Yeah, I felt that Batman he's not we say this Batman kills all the time, but I don't think I think usually he's trying to avoid it if possible. But I think in this instance with the Joker, he's
he
straight
wants
up
him dead.
He wants him dead. He is going for lethal blows. He doesn't care if he dies. He wants him to, but he's not so but he's a little bit of nose in the back of his head. He lived. He found a way to live.
Yeah, I really like that dynamic because Batman doesn't kill, but he will kill the Joker because the Joker has killed more than anyone else.
Yeah, it's a pretty complex. It's complex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can always tell we're doing a Joker episode because the episode the story is just as long as entire episode of our show.
Yeah.
Wow, I am out of words today.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so when we get back, we are going to do we're going to start Detective Comics number 57, 24 Hours to Live.
Oh no.
And we are back. 24 Hours to Live. Now, it's almost kind of a recurring theme. Whenever I let you have a lot of the Joker stories, or I'll let you choose the story, when we just based on title alone.
Yeah.
And then so I'll be like, oh, this one kind of sounds boring.
Yeah, and then it turns out to be really deep and really good.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these stories were boring, but this was a killer story.
Yeah, it was. And it has a great cover.
Yeah. You want to describe the cover?
Hell yeah. Very action-packed cover here. There's a Robin tied up in the foreground, and there's a really ugly thug who looks like he got his face beaten in the night before, holding a blackjack about to beat Robin senseless. And then there's Batman bursting through a window, again, just bursting through everything like he does. He's Batman.
I love the extra large windows in Gotham.
Giant windows. It can fit Batman's entire body through it. He's jumping through the window and uppercutting a guy at the exact same time. The guy's like flying back. It looks like he might have been holding a gun at one point, but I can't see it. But he's got his trigger finger out, and then his hat's flying off. And then there's like a guy in the foreground. And you can only see the back of his head, but you could just imagine how shocked he is that Batman's jumping through this window. There's no way they're on the first story. This has got to be like a balcony or something.
And then like the guy about a club Robin totally looks like he definitely had to be a sailor. He's got that like rough, like square face.
One of his eyes is like completely swollen shut.
Yeah.
And then the other eye is like, oh my God, it's Batman.
Yeah. And then Robin is like looking at it, is like, yeah, finally.
It's like, about time. Let's kick some ass.
Yeah, like he's just like, he's not even concerned that he's about to get clubbed because he just knew Batman was just right around the corner.
Robin's all about the ass kicking anyways. He doesn't really care too much about everything else, it seems. He just wants to fight and fight well.
Yeah. So this is Detective Comics number 57, 24 Hours to Live. This is the November 1941 issue. Art by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson, George Russos, and written by Bill Finger.
Oh shit, dude! I just noticed something else about the cover. The DC logo. It says DC, a Superman publication.
Interesting.
Ha!
Huh.
Come on, we all know it's a Batman publication.
Well, I mean, it's literally called Detective Comics DC.
I know.
But I think
it's the house that Superman built that Batman took over very quickly.
Yeah, I don't know who's more popular at this time.
They're probably pretty equal right now.
Yeah, they're both headlining a comic.
Yeah.
I'll have to do some research. Usually, like you're reading, like if I'm reading a book about Superman, they're talking about how popular Superman was, and you're reading one about Batman and talking about how popular Batman is, and they're not like saying which one was which.
I think they kind of appealed to different crowds. You know?
Probably, yeah.
Although I like them both equally.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I only picked Batman just because I think for this podcast just because I had more Batman reading experience. So, like, I was thinking about all the Superman. I mean, I've read a lot of Superman, but
same.
There's a lot of holes in my Superman reading history.
You know, I also think Superman gets rebooted a lot more often.
Yeah,
and they play around with his power sets so much you can't quite really remember like who he is or what he can do or can't do. Whereas Batman kind of has a more gradual evolution.
Yeah, Superman's eras are a lot more distinct.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Ooh, I get to read your splash page.
Yes,
you can describe it and then I'll read it.
Okay, so it's the splash page. Like it takes place like on a street corner. Batman's on top of a roof. There's a guy below him on another roof, just throwing dollar bills at the down below, while a few goons are like putting a guy in a headlock. And Robin's like chasing after. It's got that atmosphere. There's a lot of clouds.
Yeah.
It's a golden sky with Batman in front of the moon. The clock tower. It's gorgeous.
I like the light, like the little beams of light coming off of the street lamp. It's not like a full on like cone of light. It's just like little strands.
Yeah, and then the dialogue in the splash page. It's not even like in its own little like bubble or like square box. It's it's just like written in the sky.
Couple more little things I noticed about this splash page. Bob Kane's signature is green, like it's a piece of them. It's like it's a dollar bill, you know. So it blends in the cover better.
I noticed that too. It like blends right in.
Yeah, and then I really like if you like zoom in on Batman up there. I really like the little tiny details of the clock tower with the glowing clock face in the background. Like it's a harken back to the clock tower from the previous issue, and then the water tower. I don't know why I care about the water tower, but it's cool. And it gives more depth and more scale to Batman.
Yeah, and more
a lot of scale in here.
More character to Gotham.
Yeah. Time. Just a little more time, and his $1 million would have finished them off. What fun. What a triumph it would have been to know that they had died one by one, but they didn't die. Not all of them, because of the two figures who bent over him. The tall one, the muscular and wearing a, oh my God, I'm butchering this. Let me start over here.
Okay.
It's actually harder because it's not in the box.
Yeah.
Okay. Time. Just a little more time, and his $1 million would have finished them off. What fun, what a triumph it would have been to know that they had died one by one, but they didn't die. Not all of them, because of the two figures who bent over him. The tall one, muscular and wearing a costume that made him resemble a bat, and the other, a mere lad, also masked, but looking like a boy Robin Hood. If it hadn't been for them, he could have killed his cursed family. How he hated them, how he hated the world For what matter they said he was mad? The fools, the stupid, sentimental fools. The hate-seared eyes closed. The man was dead. The insidious poison in him had finished its task. The last hour had come to the man who had 24 hours to live. Much better.
Yeah, that's a good hook.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the better ones too.
So let's get into the synopsis. The story begins with a man named Jasper Sneal. Or was it Sneed?
I think it was Sneed.
Okay, my iPad auto-corrected it. Yeah, it's Sneed.
Because Sneal, that's more common than
Yeah.
Sneed.
Okay. The story begins with a man named Jasper Sneed being told he's been fatally poisoned with only 24 hours to live. He's being told this by a unseen person, and like from the person's point of view.
Yeah.
He visits his doctor, who confirms that there is no cure. Jasper goes home and he seethes. He has his butler summon his family, his widowed sister, Mrs. Briggs, an orphaned niece, his cousin, an undertaker named Hosmer Clay. Oh, his orphaned niece, an orphan. That's a tongue twister. An orphaned niece named Lucille, his cousin, an undertaker named Hosmer Clay, as well as his business partner, John Harvey. He informs them that he's going to die in 24 hours, and he's giving them all gifts of money, and he tells them to go home. So Sneed goes to the bank, and he withdraws all his money, a cool $1 million. Cool. And adjusted for inflation, this is $20 million, $20,154,829.93 in 2022 money.
Jeez.
That's a lot. So at first, he buys a new car, a hacksaw, and a screwdriver. And he gifts the car to Hosmer. So Sneed is driving it with Hosmer in the passenger seat. And they drive down the street when suddenly the steering column pops off and the brakes are out. Surprise! Sneed jumps out of the car as the car drops in the ocean with Hosmer inside, killing him. So after that, Sneed visits a gangster and he offers him $100,000 to kill his business partner, John Harvey, as revenge for trying to steal the money from him. So he wants it to go down at an old abandoned steel mill that Harvey had stole from him. So meanwhile, Lucille is visiting her friend Bruce Wayne, and she's telling him about her uncle's bad news. So Bruce leaves, and he tells Dick that he thinks that John Harvey is in danger. They suit up and they pay Harvey a visit, but Harvey's not there. Harvey's employee tells him that he was on his way to the old steel mill because some men were interested in buying it. So Batman and Robin dash over there right before they throw Harvey into a furnace. The leader holds up Batman and Robin when Batman tugs on a chain and he drops a bucket filled with a ton of scrap iron on him, and then he slams him against the red hot furnace. I'm surprised that he didn't die after the. It says the comic literally says a ton of scrap iron.
Yeah,
maybe
that
it's being
probably
figurative.
Kill you or cut you to pieces.
I mean, there's definitely had enough to be a literal ton. But, anyways, Batman questions Harvey, and Harvey says he overheard the goons say they mentioned something about Jasper Sneed. So Batman decides that they need to get to Mrs. Briggs. So meanwhile, while that happened, Jasper is out and about, and he spots what the comic calls a human wax man, and it's basically like one of those like human statues.
It's a wax figure.
Like a wax figure. I guess that's probably what they were more popular back then.
Yeah.
But he wasn't sprayed to look like a statue. But then Jasper, he pays him $10,000, saying, "Hey, I want you to pull a prank on somebody." And then he paints the man bronze, and then he pays him another $50,000, and he says, "Use this club on Mrs. Briggs." The guy is just like, "I'll do anything for $60,000, even murder."
Yeah.
Like crazy. So a giant box containing what appears to be a bronze statue of a man holding up a club arrives at Mrs. Briggs' house. She's admiring it when suddenly it comes to life and he attacks her. But before he can strike, Robin swoops in from the window and he kicks his ass. Literally.
As Robin does, always.
Yep. So Sneed goes to a golf course and he buys it for $100,000 cash. Sneed goes back to the criminal hangout and he pays for 3 goons to pose as gentlemen. Batman arrives at Mrs. Briggs after the action's over and he tells Robin that he's been looking into the Sneed family history. That's when the phone rings. Briggs answers it, and her son Stanley, who gives her the good news that he's been invited to join an exclusive golf club. She begs him not to go, but it's too late. He already hung up. So after a while, Stanley is teeing up when, out of nowhere, Batman uses a thin rope to pull the club out of Stanley's hand. The golf gentlemen attack the dynamic duo, but they go down. Stanley is wondering what the hell Batman was doing when Batman picks up the golf ball, and he throws it far into the distance where it explodes violently upon impact. Word goes out about Sneed's murder spree. He's running from the cops. He laments not being able to use a throat spray on Lucille to destroy her voice. Batman and Robin hide in the dark room that Sneed walks into. Sneed walks up the steps and opens the door, and he points a gun at his butler. He accuses him of being the one to poison him. Batman rushes in and puts Sneed in an arm lock just before he gets a shot in. Sneed worms his way out and he starts to choke Batman. Batman breaks free and punches Sneed down. Sneed tells Batman that his time is over and he dies. With Sneed dead, the butler makes his confession. Not only was he the one to give Jasper the poison, but he removes his mask to reveal that he is, in fact, Jasper's twin brother, Richard. He reveals that when they were both younger, they both fell in love with the same woman, but she married Jasper. One day, Jasper called Richard and said that he'd been in a hit-and-run accident and a witness recognized his face and that he'd be going to prison. Because Richard was so in love with Jasper's wife, he agreed to swap places with Jasper and took the blame for the accident. He went to prison, and then a couple years later, she died of a broken heart. Jasper ended up being a shitty husband. So, he broke out of prison and pretended to be a butler to get his revenge. Batman casually tells Richard that now that he's had his revenge, he'll be getting the electric chair. Richard reveals that he's actually only got a few minutes to live because he took the poison a little after he gave it to Jasper. Batman and Robin look at each other dumbfounded. The end.
I love that ending because he's like, don't worry, you're going to get the chair. And he's like, actually, I'm just going to die.
Yeah.
And then he croaks.
It's almost like it says the end, and if this was a TV show, it would like play like executive producer, created by, that's where the credit would be, like with them looking at each other, just like, huh?
Like what just happened?
It's darkly funny.
It is.
I love this story. I did tell you that it reminds me of there's a classic film noir movie called DOA with a very similar premise, and it came out around the same time. I'm pretty sure it came out in the 30s before this, so this is what it draws from. And basically, the basic story of that one is this film noir. A guy gets poisoned, and he's told he's got 24 hours to live, and he uses that 24 hours to figure out who murdered him.
Yeah,
excellent movie. It's public domain, so you can watch it on YouTube. Or I first watched it on I downloaded it from archive.org and converted it on my PSP back in the day. So that was where I first watched it. Excellent film. This is like a different take on it, where instead of the guy trying to figure out who murdered him, he goes on a murder spree himself.
He's gonna murder everybody else.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Taking everybody down with him.
Yeah. I love how spiteful he is, because it's like something he's been wanting to do, but he's like, fuck it. I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And it just also just like how mean, like the last one too with Lucille, like it's a good thing he didn't get to do that, but it's like that's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it feels almost harsher than just murdering her.
I mean, they're all harsh. He literally like gets in a car and then jumps out and lets somebody crash and burn and die.
Yeah.
Like
it's and then the golf ball, I loved it.
Yeah, the golf ball was funny.
Oh. A lot of those detective comics, like the mysteries, they end on like with an info dump, with like, the guy like saying, what their motive is. But I think this one's like the most wild one.
Yeah.
It was like, you had no way of knowing who poisoned him. Like Batman alludes to reading about his like family tree. So you're thinking, okay, it's one of these people probably. but you would never have guessed it's his identical twin brother.
Yeah, the one that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this one a lot too. And it reminds me of a lot of things, but probably because those things are inspired by DOA. Because like it's got stuff in common with Dementia 13, Escape from New York, Suicide Squad, obviously, like
Oh yeah.
Saw even, which is weird. But like, and it reminds me of the Twilight Zone, or an issue of like Two-Fisted Tales or Police Suspense Stories from DC Comics from back in the day. Those came out after this story because they would have come out in the 50s, but they were very heavily leaned into characters who were like self-righteous, who wanted to murder their whole family for some reason or another over some small, dispute. So it definitely gave me a lot of vibes. Really interesting, really good. We got a lot of panels to cover here too, because I could put quite a few in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. So, first one I chose is of Sneed. And it's I love his character design. So he's like this white guy in like a kind of a purple suit. It's like a violet suit.
He looks like the Heat Miser from You're Without a Santa Claus.
Yes,
is that the movie?
That whole universe.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. He looks like the freaking Heat Miser.
He looks like the Heat Miser. He's got like fiery red hair.
Yeah.
He's got kind of a wide face. He's not exactly fat, but he's not skinny. He's got that butt chin, and his eye, like he's giving crazy eyes in like the panel where he like finds out he's got he got poisoned, and then in the next panel it's another close up of Sneed. Just love his like dynamic look, where he just looks straight up mean in this one.
Yeah.
Where he's telling the gangster guy like he wants him to kill John Harvey. And he just looks so spiteful. He's a very spiteful man.
I mean, he talks like an all exclamation points at the end of his sentences too.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, good catch.
I know you picked this next panel because it's just Robin kicking some ass.
Yeah,
he's literally kicking a literal ass.
Yeah, it's just a good comedy.
That whole fight scene between the fake wax guy and like Robin's freaking gold.
Yeah, it's bronze.
Uh-huh.
And then I had to pick a few from the golf sequence, on the golf scene, because it's like you don't see Batman in these like open fields very often.
I know, like there's the giant sun obscured by clouds.
Yeah, it's like okay,
light coming off.
Yeah, it's like okay, we have the full moon every night, but we rarely get to see the sun.
Yeah.
And yeah, just Batman in daylight in general. They're just like running. Kind of reminds me of the open field scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I can see that.
Where Batman feels almost vulnerable if there's not a bunch of buildings around him.
Yeah, he does.
Anyways, but the next one, do you want to describe this one?
I mean, it's Robin throwing a golf ball in a guy's throat.
It's Robin. Yeah, it's exactly that. And I love that the golf ball is almost protruding from the back of the guy's throat.
It totally is like a cartoon.
Yeah, like you can see.
And there's like a action lines coming off of it.
There's a whole ball like of skin behind his neck.
I like how the guy's like ha ha ha. Oh!
Yeah,
as the ball like hits him in the throat.
If we're making a tally of deaths, I wonder. I think you know what? I don't think he choked on it just because like how fast Robin threw it and how cartoonish it is. I imagine that like it just popped right out.
Yeah, maybe. That would hurt really bad.
Yep, it would. Great panel.
Yeah, and then Robin says, "A hole in one."
Yep.
Good one, Robin.
And then after that is Batman throwing the exploding golf ball.
You know what I like about this one? Two things. One, the guy in the foreground looks like Professor, what's his face from the Powerpuff Girls?
Oh, Utonium.
Yeah, totally. That doesn't look like him.
Yeah, he kind of does, yeah.
Totally. And then two, it's not often that we see a complete shot of the back of Batman's head in these older comics. They almost rarely ever show the back of his head at all.
I never thought about that.
This is one of the first times we see like where the cowl meets the cape.
Yeah.
And how it's shaped.
Also, like that explosion is gigantic.
I know. Imagine if he'd actually hit that ball.
Well, if he had hit the ball, like it would have also killed the gangsters that he hired.
It would have wiped out everybody.
Yeah, like he didn't give a shit. It's great.
He just doesn't have to pay them if they die.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter to him anyway.
Yeah,
more people dead.
You had a 3-parter here.
I did the 3-parter. It's just the reveal. I mean, it's a big info dump. I'm not gonna like talk about the whole thing.
Yeah,
but mostly it's as we were saying earlier, like it's just like the 180 from Batman going, ha ha, okay, that's pretty crazy. Well, time to go to jail.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, no, I'm gonna die.
I like that last panel because after Batman's gone on this long freaking like multi-paragraph speech, then this guy says this whole thing, and then at the last sentence that the guy says is, I took some myself, and then he starts to die, and then like the action lines show Batman and Robin literally whipping their heads around to look at each other.
Yeah.
Like WTF?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. Like
It's the little things like that.
the words are gone.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of I know like this episode's like, I mean, this story's a lot like DOA, but it reminds me of Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Like the way he would end his movies on like a weird comedy note.
And he would always info dump at the end of those too.
Yeah.
There is a lot of Hitchcockian stuff going on.
Yeah,
here.
this one specifically Strangers on a Train.
Yeah.
I never saw the original, but it reminds me of the remake.
Well, Hitchcock was making movies at this time too. He just
Yeah.
wasn't really well known. He probably cranked out like 2 or 3.
Oh no,
of the
he
older
was
movies.
he was making movies in the silent era from the 20s.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, so
So he was starting
got
to
a
get a
few
name
in
for
his-
himself at this point.
Yeah. Okay, so and then
These are all the ones I
Yeah.
popped in here. So
let's get into them.
let's see here. So this one is just Batman and Robin standing in front of a door, and Batman's throwing his cape over his face in the middle of the day. I just like how this guy is like gold, and he can't like spit out his words. He's like stuttering over everything. Why? No, Mr. Harvey went out with some men. I think like, dude, get to the point. Batman's not that scary. It's the middle of the day, and also like, he's just covering his mouth. Anyways, but then I like in the end he says, "Who shall I say called?" And Batman says, "Santa Claus," like all straight faced, like
Yeah.
Santa Claus called. Come on,
And he's doing his classic, you know,
Santa Claus.
classic let's get away pose.
Yeah, this next one's really good too. It says, "Suddenly a bat-like shape darts out from the shadows," and then obviously that's Batman darting out of the shadows. And then he's like, "All right, rats, you can dispense with that now." And then all of them, or 2 of them, are just like, "The Batman!" And then the guy in the foreground's like, "Plug him!" I don't know. I just always love like the dialogue between thugs when they all like, they see Batman and they're all just like, "Get him! Get that guy!"
Yeah, they're like spooked, like, oh crap, we got to deal with this now.
Yes. And then this next one is Batman and Robin fighting people. Like Robin jumping on a guy's face, straddling his head like he always does. And then he's like, "Lovely weather we're having lately, isn't it?"
That guy's head is twisted something fierce.
Oh, yeah. And then Batman's punching another guy in the face really hard. And then Batman's like, very satisfying indeed. Like,
He's having fun.
I don't know about you, but if I'm decking some guy in the face, I'm not going to take the time to say that. It may feel very satisfying. I might say it after the fact, but
Well, he's got a lot of practice.
yeah, he's good at talking and fighting at the same
Yeah,
time.
it becomes like second nature.
Yeah. This one I picked because it reminded me of a similar panel with the Joker, except this one's drawn a little bit better. And it just says that maniacal fury pours new strength into the madman's arms. And it's just Sneed, and he's choking Batman. "I'll kill you, I'll choke you to death." Watching Batman get choked is always fun.
It's a weird thing to say, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, because you never expect Batman to get hurt. You never expect him to get shot. You never expect him to get choked or punched in the face. But it happens every once in a while, and you're always like taken aback by it. And then this one, just Batman returning the favor here with a nice strong punch to the face. I also love the way that they describe Batman's punches. It's always like a striking snake or something like dramatic like that. But this one says, an iron fist whips up and explodes onto his jaw, flinging him limply to the floor. Like, that sounds powerful. I don't want to get punched in the face like that. I don't want to be flung limply to the floor.
No, that doesn't sound like a good way to end your day.
No.
But this is definitely a good time to end this podcast. This is just about an hour long. Holy
This is a
moly.
longer one, but it's because we started off with
Anytime,
Joker stuff.
any Joker. Yeah. So next time on Become a Bat, we are going to be doing Detective Comics number 58. One of the most perfect frame-ups.
Such a weird title.
I like it.
Yeah.
And Batman number 7, story 3, The Trouble Trap.
You want to pick one right now based on titles?
Yeah, okay. I did Detective this time, so I'm going to do Trouble Trap.
All right, I'll do one of the most perfect frame-ups.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Give us a review on whatever you listen to us on. And we are out of here. Thank you. Good night.
Later, guys.